Okay, this is the build-up process for the Cylon Centurion. You're going to be getting, there's going to be the moving eye, there's going to be 4 of these rectangular LEDs placed in here. Now the first order of business is to lay these 4 LEDs across in such a way that it becomes even with the eye as you later on we move it. So first thing to do is to put a bead of hot glue on this part right here. That way they stay in place, and the legs, we can wire them up. Okay, there's a diagram to show how it wires it up. Now the different colors for LED 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then the commons are all connected up here. It's just a way of saving wires. So you can see we only come up with 5 wires. We drill a hole, and you can't see it now unfortunately because I've added a second layer of hot glue to keep it in place, and there's the hole right there underneath, and all of them went through. And you can see that it's very difficult to see those wires. If you want to be really pure, you can paint it gray like it is here. But there it is right there. Oop, there it is. You can see the other hole that I placed. Now you need to place that hole so you don't hit any of these any of these tube-like extension for the breathing or the hydraulics. So that's where you put that hole right there, and you can see. Let's see if we can hold them up a little. There we go. And you can see the little dimples. There's one here and there's one there. So that's where you put the hole for these wires to come through. And here's the cover for it, the hat. Now this unit was an advanced Cylon Centurion, so I was a little bit of a problem because it came to me all assembled, so I had to take it apart, and I tried the best I could, but you can see some scarring from being pried open because it was glued down by the gentleman that put it all together. But we were fortunate that we're able to get this from Steve, and I appreciate it, so we can get a head start in providing this to you folks. Okay, in this phase here we've connected up the wires that come from the head of the Cylon Centurion, and you can see it's connected to the motherboard down below here. The LEDs for the moving eye wires connect here. Of course, this is your battery connection, and these 2 LEDs right here, these are the weapons LED for the cannon and the machine gun. Now they're mounted to the board, and they've been already pre-drilled with the correct size hole for the fiber optic to go in, and then I'll show you how to do that part. Now this is showing you the fiber optic. It went right into the hole that's pre-drilled, and a very small amount of hot glue. I use a hot glue that's more like a rubberized type, so it gives a little bit. Now what you want to do is when you're holding it in like this and you're putting the hot glue, if you press down, the glue is so hot that it actually bends the fiber, so don't press down too much, just kind of hold it in place while it's curing, but don't push down or else it will put a bend in it. I don't know if you can see that. There's a slight bend right there because I pressed it too hard. You can actually feel it bend. You don't want it to bend too much. You want to keep a nice straight line there. Okay, the next step, once you've got the fiber optic glued in, is to take a little black shrink tubing that we supply, and we slide it over the shrink, and you'll see it come down in a second. There we go. Now the obvious thing to do is to shrink it with the heat gun. A lot of folks may not have it, plus you don't want to get too much heat on the circuit, of course. So you got a soldering iron. You can just touch the sides. Just go all the way around. And you're going to start to feel it adhere to the LED. Now you don't want to touch the fiber. Just the outside. We're just shrinking the tube a little bit more. And you want to shrink it right to the LED. Just carefully move yourself around. Now, we're doing this to keep the light from transferring from this LED, which is weapon, the cannon, we'll say, to the machine gun, which is over here. So we're keeping the light, when one weapon is firing, from interfering with the other one. That feels pretty good. Okay, done deal. And this is what the finished product of the board looks like when you've connected the shrink tubing to the weapons LEDs. They'll look like this. Again, just be careful not to put too much heat, because you might even melt the glue that's holding this in place. If this starts to get a little soft inside, just kind of hold it like this till it re-solidifies, and it's good to go. So here we are. That's it. The next step is to take the finished board, and you notice what we had to do to the back of it. So you can just use a Dremel tool and just make the proper elongated hole there. And we put it in just like that. Then we glue it into place, and you can see that you can arrange the switch. You can get the board so the switch is basically in the center, just like that, and then you can glue it in place. Just hot glue it in place, and we'll be good to go for the next step. Now we're taking the liberty to put the back part on. Now remember, as I prefaced this in the beginning, this was a fully assembled Cylon Centurion. So we're a little bit behind the 8 ball in getting things done because it was all assembled. We had to kind of take them apart carefully just so we can do this and show a video. But you guys will have a better situation that it should be all apart, and you could run the fiber optic as needed. You guys can run it on the inside by drilling through the arm, and we'll have to of course run it on the outside here, and I'll show you that later. But anyway, the battery's inside, okay, and this is the extra wire, and basically we've done it like this so you can put the head on eventually once we get it all together, and then when you need to take the battery out, you just hold it like this and pull the battery out, and etc. So that's that part, and we'll move on to the next phase. Okay, in this stage what we're going to do is we need a nice hard surface like a tabletop or something hard, piece of wood, and a sharp blade to cut the fiber to the right length, basically. There's one. Two. And this one more. This one more. Just try to get them. There's not too much extra length. There we go. And then you can do is just pull him back into the chamber just enough and glue him in place, you know. That's it. And here's the back of him, and he's fully enclosed, and there's the on-off switch right there. Okay, slide it, it's off, slide it, it's on. So here we go, got a fully assembled guy. There he is, folks. Here's the arm with the weapons. It's got one cannon and a couple of machine guns that fired at different rates at different times. And now we pan up to the moving eye, and there it is. Now you'll have to diffuse the lens to get that effect, and unfortunately he was a fully assembled Centurion, so there's going to be some imperfections. You can tell by the head when we had to take him apart, and the little piece here. Again, that won't be your case because you'll have a fully unassembled Cylon Centurion. Have fun building him. Thank you very much.